There are no forests on Earth. When you read this headline out loud, even with the exclamation mark at the end, every sensible person will say that I'm out of my mind, and you will want to show me tons of photos with images of forests. I want you to believe that this is another trick. They make us think that this is a forest, when you actually are looking at 30-meter bushes. This is total bullshit and nonsense, you will say to me. Of course we know what forests look like, because we've all walked in them. Well, I expect that's how you will react, and that's fair, but after watching this video, its headline won't seem so strange to you, because you will reverse your concept of forests by 360 degrees. And now, first things first. We will begin with a well-known picture. Children see 9 dolphins on it, but adults see 2 lovers. A huge difference, don't you think? Try to see dolphins on it and see how hard it is. Feminine fruities just won't transform into dolphins for most adults. And that's funny because it's the opposite for kids. There is only one picture, but we see it completely differently. What is more, children and adults can't exchange perceptions. Why is this the case? It is simple. Eyes see the way the Matrix ordered them to, but that's not the way the real world looks. Our eyes become traitors over time. We were blinded while in childhood. The outward world is quite different. We see things through a prism of habit and experience. And this prism distorts everything completely. At 30 years of age, this prism works to protect your mind. And at 40, you could go crazy without this prism. Do you think I'm exaggerating? Look at this photo. I'm claiming that it is from a mesa that was formed from a magmatic melt from the Earth's depths about 200 million years ago. You think I'm out of my mind? Maybe you're out of your mind. You will understand soon. We'll come back to this plot of grass later. For now, remember how we bumped into this old stump. Sometimes humans even try to take photos trying to hug the unhuggable trunk of a tree. But really, think about it. Old trees are a rarity. They are all registered, they are tracked, and are being kept in reserves, like memorials of nature. There is an uproar on the internet about forests. Why all forests on the earth, even in Siberia, are not older than 200 years old? Where are all the giants? It is right that the people are in an uproar about it, but I want to look at the problem from another angle, from the side of the Earth's poles. The thing is that even Soviet biologists found strangeness in the poles, and unnatural amounts of water kept in the ice and snow, and there's an unnatural percentage of carbon dioxide in the world's oceans. This abnormal concentration tells us exactly about a worldwide fire of the past. Using simple math, those scientists come to the conclusion that those fires carried away 99% of the Earth's biosphere. We all know that living cells consist of hydrogen and carbon, so the ice on the poles are made mostly from water, from burned organisms. And now, think about this number, 99%. It means that everything that now grows, crawls, flies, swims, and runs on the earth is 20,000 times less in volume than before this catastrophe. 20,000 times. To imagine this, look at this picture. This piece of bread is humans, plants, animals. Just this pathetic small piece of bread on this large transport truck represents Earth's biosphere before those times. I hope you understand that today's myth of overpopulation is just pure hoax and nonsense. 100%. But here's the problem. Biologists divided this number between all the continents and only calculated into this figure the dry land, not all the ice and snow that is on the earth. And there's a lot of snow and ice. Fact is fact. But as always, illumination can come suddenly, and stereotypical thinking is to blame. 30-meter tall forests are like a virus that takes over both our brains and especially the brains of biologists, which prevent us from finding a solution to this problem. If plants can't fit broadwise, then we should fit them upwards, and then it should make sense. In this new theory, hypothetical forests of unthinkable height were drawn. And here's the thing. We found these old photos. This is the vandalous felling of the sequoias in the California redwood between 1880 and 1920. These trees miraculously survived the planet's bombardment in 1816. Just imagine how many years this tree needs to grow to these sizes. Then these terrible men come with saws and axes. 1, 2, and no more tree. In proportion of this tree, we can see a rule. The diameter of the stump is 3 times bigger than the woodcutter's or feller's growth. Let's look at this formula. You just think about it. You are entering a forest that is not usually 30 meters, but 100 meters. Here are your fairy forests from fairy tales and books. Forests that are lost because of such barbarians. I understand that they are just wage workers, and they must feed their families, that this is just an order from above. But if every single woodcutter refused to carry out these criminal orders, all the forests would be saved, because their demon bosses are too arrogant to do it with their own hands. And that is why I will send these merry woodcutters' defenders to a well-known place. Look at this photo carefully. They look like satanic bacterias that want to kill the forest organism. For those who think that trees were killed just because of wood materials, I want to dispel your claims. Trees are energy generators. They produce constant electricity, oxygen from photosynthesis, food. They have a root network and are programmed to exchange data. Our ancestry had a theory that trees are programmed to keep data from everything on the planet and save it in their information portal in their carbon fibers. I do not know the reason, but some sequoias that these vandals left alive even put a fence around it and called it a wildlife sanctuary. Of course, park guides will tell you tales from the crypt. How in the stupid Zoic era, stupid soars scratched their booty on the old sequoias of California. Let's summarize everything. Remains of the giant trees of the past are found. and homeless ice and snow of the poles took their place in the mosaic. It seems like everything is clear, but it is not. Nothing is so simple. If we take myths and legends of all nations, you can find lots of stories about people, animals, and plants morphing into stone. This is normal because paleontologists all over the world dig petrified fossils of humans, animals, and plants. There are so many of them that old museums are overfilled with petrified fossils of clovers, frogs, lizards, pieces of dinosaurs, and so on. Frogs and clovers are fine, but what about the forests? Guys, where are the trees? Old sequoias of California do not fit here because they are made of carbon. It means they are not related to the Silicon era. Why do I know this? First off, they were cut and sawed by standard instruments. All axes and saws would break if they had to cut silicon. So where are the silicon trees, if those giants from carbon are not related to the Silicon era? Guess what? They were found. Guess where? In the same North America, in Arizona to be precise. Ah, this zone of the Aryans. There are so many things going on there. The giant quarry that is now called the Grand Canyon. Like one person under the nickname Wake Up Human said, it is an apogee of the cynicism to name Quarry Waste as a national park. It is not a national park. It is just a quarry. And think what the ancient Russian word's root, kolo, is doing in the opposite part of the world. And the root ra, I won't even mention. Here is the city of Aryans, from which left only the vortex that made Hooligan meteorite 50,000 years ago. That's how Wikipedia is telling us this total bullshit. Oh, and by the way, here are our silicon trees. I wanted to introduce to you the museum under the open sky. Petrified trees here are just scattered in the desert and also fenced. Everyone today can visit this circus called Petrified Forest National Park. In this park, petrified fossils are not common. They are unique. If turtles and frogs were petrified in pale gray boulders, then this trees morphed into semi-precious stones. Beautiful stones, aren't they? It is time to take stock. All our forests are young and do not grow higher than 30 meters. Remains of fairy forests were found in the sequoias of California, and biologists put poles of ice and snow in its place. We found petrified fossils of the Silicon era and trees from precious gems. Now everything fits together, right? Or no? In a perfect world, everything fits.